You will never see a player like Ronaldinho
If you take my generation, we're all gonna say Ronaldinho was favorite.
I think Ronaldinho did more for the football, but I think it's two players that everybody enjoy watching on TV or live when they're playing, and very creative, and they have this magic when anything can happen in any moment. But I feel Ronaldinho more concrete.
In football, we're obsessed with numbers, goals, assists, trophies. We build legacies on mountains of data, searching for objective proof of who's the greatest. But what about the moments that numbers can't possibly measure? The moments that defy stats and logic? The moments that made an entire generation fall completely in love with the game? For a few glorious years, those moments had one name: Ronaldinho. He was a player who seemed to operate outside the known laws of football physics, a magician who turned a simple patch of grass into his personal stage. But was his raw, joyful, unpredictable magic a higher form of talent than the man who would inherit his throne and then break every record imaginable? This is the story of the magician versus the machine, a tale of two totally different kinds of brilliance. And by the end, we'll try to answer the ultimate question: was Ronaldinho more talented than Lionel Messi? Section 1. The Reign of Joy. To really get Ronaldinho, you have to go back to the early 2000s. Football was a different world, the internet was young, and finding out about a player felt like you'd unearthed a secret. YouTube was just getting started, and grainy compilations of impossible skills were passed around like digital treasures. This was the world that Ronaldinho didn't just enter, he conquered. He arrived at FC Barcelona in 2003, a club that had hit a rough patch and was starved for a taste of success. As a young Lionel Messi would later say, it was a bad time, and the change that came about with his arrival was amazing. In the first year, he didn't win anything, but people fell in love with him. And that was it, right there. Before the trophies, there was just a feeling. Ronaldinho didn't just play football, he radiated a pure, infectious joy. He played with a smile that seemed permanently glued to his face, like he was in on a joke the rest of us weren't. His game was a direct extension of that personality, playful, bold, and completely unpredictable. He was the living embodiment of Joga Bonito, the beautiful game, a philosophy that was fading from the tactical, physical European leagues. Ronaldinho brought it roaring back, all by himself. His coach at the time, Frank Rijkaard, said it perfectly. He transmits a lot of joy and pleasure playing the game, and he has individual skills that are of such a high level that everybody in the world adores him. And that adoration was universal. He was a player who transcended rivalries. The peak of this came on November 19, 2005. At the Santiago Bernabéu, the fortress of Barcelona's eternal rivals, Real Madrid, Ronaldinho put on a performance so stunning, so dominant, that the Madrid fans did the unthinkable. They stood up and gave him a standing ovation. They weren't just clapping for a great game, they were honouring an artist who had just painted a masterpiece at their expense.
Right, it is very, very, very rare that you see Real Madrid fans applaud an opposition player. It is rarer still, I would say never happens, that you see Real Madrid fans applaud a Barcelona player. But if one man deserves it, it's this man. That is absolutely.
His peers spoke about him in mythic terms. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a man not exactly known for humility, simply said Ronaldinho was phenomenal. He made his opponents look like children. His former teammate, Deco, made an even bolder claim. Ronaldinho was more talented than Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. When we didn't know what to do, he would create chances to score. This wasn't just about being effective, it was about conjuring something from nothing, solving problems with imagination. Even the legendary defender Sergio Ramos, who faced him countless times, called him virtually unstoppable at his best, admitting that in his prime, no one could compare. The 2005 Ballon d'Or officially crowned him the best player on the planet, but his real impact wasn't measured in awards. It was in the collective gasp of a stadium, in the millions of kids trying to copy his signature elastico, a move that seemed to defy human anatomy. It was measured in smiles. As Wayne Rooney put it, he had magic feet, but was not just about tricks. He created and scored the goals to match his ability. He was a product of Brazil's vibrant futsal and street football. "A lot of the moves I make originate from futsal," he once explained. Section 2. The Student and the Master. While the king was holding court at the Camp Nou, a quiet young prince was waiting in the wings. His name was Lionel Messi, a teenager who had arrived from Argentina years earlier. He was shy, introverted, and, by his own account, a little intimidated by the big personalities in the Barcelona dressing room.
I don't think I've seen anyone play like this at this age.
I was very shy. The first training session we had with Leo, I was playing a bit more of a defensive midfielder, and we were doing this exercise of 1 against 1. In my head, I'm thinking that I'm going to get the ball easy, from...
In a world where superstars often see rising talents as a threat, Ronaldinho saw something different. He saw the future, and instead of guarding his throne, he reached out a hand to pull the young Argentine up beside him. Messi himself has spoken about this generosity many times. "I've always said that from the first moment I entered the changing room, Ronaldinho and the rest of the Brazilians welcomed me and made things easier for me," Messi recalled. But above all, I learned a lot by his side. This was an active mentorship. On the pitch, Ronaldinho would constantly look for the young prodigy, encouraging him. The senior players created a protective bubble around the 16-year-old. Messi noted how crucial this was. "It's never easy to go into a changing room at the age of 16, especially with my character. Ronaldinho made everything much easier for me." Their relationship produced one of the most symbolic moments in modern football history. May 1st, 2005, Barcelona is playing Albacete. A teenage Messi, in the number 30 jersey, comes on as a substitute. A minute later, he scores, but it's wrongly disallowed. The crowd groans. But just moments later, Ronaldinho gets the ball. He spots the darting run of his young apprentice. Instead of going for glory himself, he lifts a delicate, perfect chip over the defense. Messi lets it bounce once before lobbing it over the keeper and into the net. It was his first official goal for FC Barcelona. The celebrations said it all. It was a passing of the torch. The small Messi jumps onto the back of his smiling mentor, a picture of pure joy. The king was carrying the prince, presenting him to the world. It was a beautiful, selfless act from the undisputed best player in the world, who chose to create a platform for the next generation. He didn't just assist the goal, he authored the moment. Years later, Ronaldinho would say, "I helped Messi, and I know he will do the same with Neymar." It was a philosophy of paying it forward. Coach Frank Rijkaard, who managed both, carefully integrated the young Messi. Looking back, Messi realized the wisdom in how he was handled. "Now that I'm older, I've come to understand that was the best thing for me, and I'll always be grateful to him for that. The way he handled me was really important." Rijkaard's careful management and Ronaldinho's open-hearted mentorship created the perfect environment for Messi's genius to grow. The Brazilian star gave Messi more than an assist. He gave him confidence. He shielded him from the immense pressure and showed him that it was possible to play with joy at the very highest level. This was the bridge between two eras, one ruled by a magician of spectacle, the other soon to be ruled by a genius of statistics. And for a brief, beautiful moment, they shared the stage, linked by a single goal that signaled the end of one reign and the dawn of the next. Section 3. The core analysis. This is where the debate really heats up. Two types of magic. To ask who was more talented, you first have to define what talent even is.
When I watch Messi, he sees things that you can't see from the stand. And it's almost like he's playing the game as an out-of-body experience where he's looking at himself.
If talent is pure God-given artistry, the ability to create moments of spontaneous, unpredictable beauty, then Ronaldinho has an almost perfect case.
The way I love to see football and the way it's played as a showman and the things he done for me is the best player who ever touched the ball.
But if talent is defined by its ruthless efficiency, its surgical precision, and its devastating effectiveness, greatness, then the conversation swings hard toward Lionel Messi. They were both magicians, but they practiced two very different schools of magic. Ronaldinho's magic was expressive, theatrical, and improvisational. He was a jazz musician on a football pitch, playing with a feeling and reacting to the rhythm of the game. His signature moves, the elastico, the no-look pass, weren't just to beat a defender. They were flourishes designed to entertain. Watching him was a performance. You were mesmerized by the process, not just the result. His dribbling was a dance, a series of feints and shimmies that seemed to hypnotize defenders before he ghosted past them. There's a quote often attributed to him that sums it all up. "I could score a goal, but I preferred to dribble." The journey was just as important as the destination. His creativity went beyond dribbling. While other playmakers saw passing lanes, Ronaldinho saw wild possibilities, conjuring passes with the outside of his boot, his back, or a flick of his ankle, all while looking the other way. This wasn't just for show, it was a weapon. The no-look pass sent false information, freezing defenders for a split second. It was high-risk, high-reward football, and it inspired a generation. Players like Eden Hazard have talked about spending hours watching his clips on YouTube, learning to play with a smile. Messi's magic, on the other hand, is the magic of impossible efficiency. If Ronaldinho was jazz, Messi is a chess grandmaster and a master surgeon rolled into one. His talent isn't about extra flair, it's in perfecting the essentials better than anyone in history. His dribbling isn't about elaborate tricks. It's based on something far more terrifying for a defender: perfect, absolute control of the ball while running at full speed. Where Ronaldinho used a trick, Messi uses a series of impossibly quick, subtle shifts in direction. He keeps the ball so close it looks glued to his foot. Defenders know he's going to run at them, but the execution is so fast and precise, they're powerless to stop it. It's not a dance, it's an assassination. He eliminates defenders with cold, calculated prejudice. There is zero wasted movement. This ruthless efficiency defines his entire game. His passing isn't about the no-look flourish. It's about the geometrically impossible through ball that splits an entire defense. His finishing isn't always the 30-yard screamer. It's the calm, dinked chip over a keeper, chosen because it has the highest probability of success. The dribbling debate captures their differences perfectly. Ronaldinho was arguably the more entertaining dribbler. His runs were a spectacle. Messi is almost certainly the more effective dribbler. His runs end in a goal or an assist with terrifying frequency. One's talent was for art, the other's is for results. Ronaldinho's talent felt like a wild bonfire, crackling with unpredictable sparks. Messi's talent is a laser, a silent, focused beam that cuts through anything in its path. Section 4. The Divergence. Longevity versus a bright flame. The story of their careers is where the comparison of talent becomes a sharp contrast in greatness. Ronaldinho's peak was a supernova, an explosion of brilliance so intense it lit up the entire football world. But supernovas, by their nature, burn out fast. Messi's career, in contrast, has been like the sun, a constant, unwavering source of energy, sustaining its power for an astonishingly long time. Ronaldinho's decline started almost as quickly as his rise. After leading Barcelona to Champions League glory in 2006, the fire began to dim. The discipline that had briefly harnessed his incredible talent started to slip. Stories about his love for partying and a lack of commitment to training became common. The magic was still there, but only in flashes. In 2008, his coach Frank Rijkaard sadly admitted it was time for a change, hoping a new club would reignite his passion. Rijkaard urged everyone not to forget what Ronaldinho had done for the club and to remember his peak, not the fall. Ronaldinho would have more successful moments, but he never again reached the celestial heights of his Barcelona days. His time at the absolute pinnacle of the sport lasted for about 3 to 4 seasons. It was the story of a shooting star, breathtaking, unforgettable, but gone too soon. This is where Lionel Messi enters a completely different dimension. Where Ronaldinho's career is a story of what if, Messi's is a story of what else can he possibly do. He didn't just carry the torch from his mentor, He used it to set the world on fire for nearly 2 decades. The numbers are so ridiculous they almost lose their meaning. 8 Ballon d'Or awards, over 800 career goals, hundreds of official assists. He scored 91 goals in a single calendar year. For Barcelona alone, he scored 672 goals. The records are endless, each one a monument to a level of sustained production the sport has never seen. But Messi's greatness isn't just in the stats. It's in his relentless adaptation. The explosive winger of the mid-2000s became the prolific false nine of the 2010s, who then evolved into the deep-lying playmaker of today, dictating the entire game. While Ronaldinho's motivation seemed to fade, Messi's only grew. He chased every trophy with a quiet, burning intensity, finally capturing the one prize that had eluded him, the World Cup in 2022. He achieved this not just with talent, but with a ferocious will to win and a discipline that allowed him to maintain his peak well into his 30s. This is the fundamental split. Ronaldinho's story is a romantic tragedy. We're left to wonder what could have been if he had Messi's discipline. Messi's legacy is one of sustained, optimized genius. This is where the difference between talent and greatness becomes clear. Talent is the gift. Greatness is what you do with it, day after day, year after year. The beautiful flame of Ronaldinho's talent captured our hearts, but the enduring, all-consuming fire of Messi's greatness conquered the world. What do we value? So, back to the big question. Was Ronaldinho more talented than Messi? Maybe we're asking the wrong thing. It's like asking if a thunderstorm is more beautiful than a sunset. Both are breathtaking, but they stir completely different emotions. One is about power, chaos, and a thrilling unpredictability. The other is about serenity, warmth, and a slow-burning, inevitable beauty. Ronaldinho was the thunderstorm. His magic was chaotic and electrifying. For a few years, he tore through the football world, leaving mesmerized fans and bewildered opponents behind. He played as if he'd found the game's cheat codes and used them not just to win, but to perform the most spectacular tricks possible. He was the shooting star you feel lucky to have witnessed. Messi, then, is the sun. He's the constant, the inevitable, the center of gravity for his entire generation. He took the joy Ronaldinho embodied and weaponized it, turning it into an art form of ruthless, sustained brilliance. His talent isn't in the chaotic flourish, but in the perfect, repeated execution of impossible feats. He solved the math of the game, finding the most efficient path to goal time and time again for 20 years. So, choosing one over the other says more about what you value in football. Do you value the pure, unbridled expression of joy, the jaw-dropping moments of audacity that defy logic, the artist who plays for the spectacle? If so, then your heart probably belongs to Ronaldinho. His magic was for the soul. Or do you value sustained, relentless perfection, the cold, hard proof of statistical domination, the genius of a player who mastered every part of the game and performed at an unmatched level for 2 decades? If so, your mind has to bow to Lionel Messi. His greatness is for the history books. The question isn't really who was more talented, it's what kind of magic move. There's no right answer here, only your answer. So let us know in the comments below, the magician or the machine? What do you value more? And if you enjoy deep dives into football's biggest debates, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more.